Hello, I am Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown because only you rule your kingdom. Hello, it's Bren. We are doing another wonderful episode of BTBY TV, Becoming the Best You Can Be. Are you overcoming those challenges? Look who I got with me today. I know you guys know who Terrence is.
Hey, it's an unstoppable day, everybody. How are you out there in BTBY land? We've got a great show for you. We're looking forward to not only to impact you, but also to move you to become the best version of yourself with each and every one of these episodes. And today we have a wonderful guest with us. We're hanging out here at the Full Throttle Experience, and we just happened to run into this great guy, David Kauffman. How are you?
Terrence? I'm well. How are you?
Well, thank you so much for spending time and hanging out here with the BTBY show. Why don't we start just by giving them a little bit of information about who David is?
Sure. My name's Dave Kauffman. I was born on a farm in Georgia. I grew up in the Amish Mennonite world, and one time I was introduced on stage, guys, and they said, Dave Kauffman, outstanding in his field. And I was like, yeah, that's where they found me. Outstanding in my field. Yeah. So grew up on a large farm in Montezuma, Georgia. And if you know about Montezuma, you and I are probably related. That's how small the town was. But it's a great place to be from. But yeah, just happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I have to start with this because everybody says conferences are too expensive. I don't need a conference. Why do I need to go? What's it going to do for me? This man is a speaker. He's more than that. And he's here at a conference.
Yeah.
And he speaks at these same conferences, but he's here attending. Tell him why.
Yeah, well, conferences are expensive if you don't go.
Right.
Like it costs you not to go to conferences. Like it is more expensive not to go to a conference than to go to a conference. Here's why I'm here at FTX and I go to a lot of conferences. I'm somewhere in the US speaking every week. But because it's if you can't give unless you receive.
Absolutely.
You can't withdraw from a bank account unless you first deposit. This is my deposit. I come to every one of these every year at FTX. I've been to every one of them actually, and spoke at the third one, I think it was. But listen, if you're not receiving, eventually your well will become dry. And we as entrepreneurs are called to give. We're called to, especially as leaders and influencers, we're called to give. And so I'm getting so I can give.
Not only that, he's giving to you right now because he's carved time out of his day in a very packed weekend. Packed.
Yes,
Not only that, you've been working while
Yeah.
you've been here, and he thought you were important enough to hear his story, to give you the hope that you need.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna let you take it from
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah. So like I said, I grew up in Georgia. I did not do well in school. I was part of the class that made the top half possible. Okay. So I was good. I failed the 6th grade.
Oh,
Okay.
And it wasn't because I was ignorant or dumb or not smart. I always knew that I was called to greatness. At the age of 13, guys, I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I feel like I have a calling on my life. And he says, what is it? I said, I don't know. But it feels like there's a group of people going this way and I'm to help them shift and go this way. And he said, do you think you're going to be a preacher? And I said, I hope not, because I wasn't even thinking preacher. But one of my mentors, Howard Partridge, says, Dave, preach the word every day, and if necessary, use words. And so I get to use my platform as a speaker, as a author, handpicked by the Ziggler family to carry on the legacy of the great legend, American legend Zig Ziglar. And so one of 10 in the world master trainers with DISC personality assessments. And I get to impact the kingdom because I'm able to have this platform and share my story. And being grown up in an Amish Mennonite world, we only went to the 8th grade. And one of the smart kids years later told me, she said, I never expected you to become anything.
Wow.
Because of how I handled academics. And so I came up with a quote about 5 years ago. And it's not that I'm against education at all. I think education is really, really important. But education will never find your passion, but passion will always find your education.
I love it.
And so I came up with that because it was my story. I knew even at a young age of 13, even at 6, like I started an auction company in the 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was three.
Yeah.
There was 3 things I wanted to be in life: an auctioneer, a veterinarian, and a pilot. Okay. I'm all 3 of them except one. Which one am I not?
Well, I know that maybe.
Okay.
I think the vet, but you
The
might
vet.
be.
That's what I'm
But
I'm
you're
not a
not an
vet.
auction.
No, I'm a licensed auctioneer, and I'm a pilot. So I got my pilot's license at 21 years old on my birthday. And I get to fly around to all of my events and speaking career all over the country. And so where do I start? Oh my goodness. It's like,
But you didn't just walk out with the plane.
no.
You had that journey, that process,
Oh yeah.
that struggle.
Yeah. So I remember when I was 5 years old, I had a toy airplane, and that's all I would do. I would crop dust the couch, going back and forth, and just, that's all I did. I think my first word was airplane. So the dreams do come true. And so I bought my airplane and fly around to all around the country and speak and impact and coach and help people reach their full potential. So age 21, so I was in the Mennonite world, and age 21, I left the church and moved to North Alabama. And my brothers had started a company there, building sheds and gazebos, and it was really high-end stuff. And I was the delivery guy, because I was the low guy on the totem pole, and they said, well, you go do the hard work. And so I did, and I started building relationships with all of these people. And one day I was sitting in the office waiting for the truck to be loaded, and somebody pulls up and into our lot and goes out and starts looking at our sheds and gazebos. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I tell my brother Gary, who was the salesperson, I said, Gary, I'm going to go sell them that shed. And I walked out there, and within 10 minutes, I had a commitment, and it was my first sales experience. And so I started like he said, wow, that was quick. And I got really good at it. And I turned into the sales person for that company. And then from there, I moved to North Arkansas, and I went to work for a company called Hank's Fine Furniture. And I knew nothing about furniture. I mean, I didn't know furniture from a manhole cover, okay? But I had figured out that I knew people. I knew how to relate to people. And, if I'd ask any salesperson out there, most of them would say, what is the most important thing in sales? Knowing your products or knowing your people? And most of them say, you got to know your product. That's baloney.
That's right.
For a short time, I sold for Kawasaki and never owned a motorcycle, never had been on a motorcycle. And the first day I sold a motorcycle without not even knowing what size it was. Okay. So you have to know people. You have to love people to know people.
That's it.
And you do. And that's what I get to do today in my coaching company. I teach leaders, business owners, how to love their employees to get them engaged in the company. So anyhow, I'm way ahead of myself. So, so I became a salesperson for my brother's business and helped them grow the company. And I was always like outside the box. In fact, I didn't even know where the box was.
I say, did you even have a box?
No, I tore it down. And,
Yeah, I love what you talked about. As you follow his story, you see from a young age, he was breaking all those stereotypes. He was breaking glass ceilings. He was thinking outside of the box. And I love how you're wrapping it up and saying that even though education is good, it's not the path that everybody has to take. And too many times we can't become the best version of ourselves because we're trying to follow everybody else's path.
That's right.
I love how you were able to have that imagination as a young child and manifest it into everything that you have today. And it's all because you chose a different path.
That's right.
So what would you say to our audience that is kind of stuck in looking at other people's paths and not using their own imagination to become the best version of themselves?
So my mentor, Ziggler, said this: only you can make a terrific you, but if you try to be somebody else, you'll make a terrible somebody else. So be yourself. Be yourself. And, he taught the principle, be, do, have. Society today says we have to go do something in order to be somebody so that we can have things. That's not the original plan. That's the twisted version that society and the devil actually perpetrated upon mankind. But here's the deal. You have to become the right person. One of my youth mentors, and he didn't even know he was a mentor to me. He was just an older guy that just spoke into my life. He said, Dave, it's more important to become the right person than to find the right person. Yes. And so become who God wants you to be so that you can do what God wants you to do, so you can have what God wants you to have. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have what God wants me to have than what I want to have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's always more.
Because he got it all.
He's got the abundance. And I love that phrase, because when you decide to be the right person for yourself, then he will send the right people into your life to help manifest what you already decided to be.
Yeah. And so I get to help people give people the greatest gift in life. And that gift is awareness.
Yes.
Yes.
And you can't be aware until you're first aware. Okay. And so, I get to bring that gift into people's life and shine a light on who they are, and then also help them to understand who their people are. And we teach leaders how to lead, we teach salespeople how to sell, and we teach husband and wives I do a lot of marriage.
Communication is key.
It's communication
and relationship. And once you become aware, you'll never be the same. And I think that is key in becoming the best version of yourself, being aware of where you are and then taking actions on either improving the things that you like about yourself or changing the things that you want to change about yourself.
That's right.
So having that personality assessment, I think that's very key. And I'm glad that you are a master trainer in it. And
One
I'm
of
glad
10.
in
the world.
And you use it every day. And that's a beautiful thing. So what's next for David?
Well, before we get there, I need to know how you got from 21.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and then, sales at my brother's business. And then I went to Arkansas and I sold furniture. And that's where they put me through a Ziggler course. Now, I had heard of Zig, but I had never heard him speak. Okay. I never heard that Southern accent. I mean, even though I'm from Georgia, but it drew me in, and I was like, wow, this guy's amazing. And I never, ever in my life figure that I'd get to meet the man and get to become friends with the family and be called on and tapped on. So in 2012, he passed away. And I was the second person that the family tapped on their shoulder and says, Dave, you're speaking, you're impacting lives. How would you like, I got to tell you the story. Okay.
Please.
So I was in Destin, Florida at a conference that Tom Ziggler was speaking at as well. And so he comes up to me and says, hey, my wife was with me at the conference. She said, I'd like to have lunch with you and your wife. And I said, fantastic. And so it was on the beach resort. So we went to a tiki bar and ate a hamburger for lunch. And he says, David, we've been watching you, a Southern accent. And he says, we like what you're about. We like what you're speaking about and talking about. How would you like to be part of a small, exclusive group of speakers that are handpicked by my family to carry on my dad's legacy?
Yeah.
And I said, let me think about that. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like
Okay.
it.
That didn't take very long.
Right.
And then I was thinking, this could change my life. This could change my schedule. This could change everything. And I said, yes, but I said, we want to go, my wife and I, to dinner and pray about it and seek God's will about it. So we did. We went to P.F. Chang's in Destin, Florida. And I say P.F. Chang's for a reason. So we talked about it. We both agreed that, yes, we want to do it, but we knew that it would change everything. And so I paid. They brought the fortune cookie. Okay. So I don't place all my value on fortune cookies, but I opened it up and I almost fainted. You know what the fortune cookie said?
I'm almost afraid to ask.
It said this: you will have the ability and opportunity to impact millions.
Wow.
Millions.
Wow.
That's
powerful.
Yeah.
Confirmation.
It is. And so I called Tom right there. We were crying because it was so amazing. And I said, Tom, I'm in. And so I became the second person that they tapped. And that fortune cookie is on my desk, under the glass on my desk, right in front of my computer.
So you see it every day.
I see it every day. And so I know my purpose, and that's to impact millions. And I'm using my talents, my abilities, what God gave me, and I'm doing just that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's very key to recognizing that your purpose will make room for you, even when you don't know how it's going to happen.
That's exactly right.
You seek the guidance, you knew why you wanted to do it, and then the how just worked itself out.
Yeah.
Except for you still didn't tell us how you got from 21 to now.
Okay, so I started my first company in 2008. It was a high-end residential cleaning service, and that put me on the map in the local community where I was at. People started coming to me and saying, can you do whatever you did to grow your company so fast? Because we had phenomenal success. And I said, well, I hired a coach, go hire a coach. And they said, will you be my coach? And I said, no. And by then I had started several companies. My plan was to start several different companies in different industries under the same brand. So got a maid, got a plumber, got a taxi. Okay. So I started a taxi company, started a limousine service, all of this under that umbrella. And I kept saying no to people as far as coaching and helping them build their business. And one day a landscaper comes to me and says, hey, will you help me? I said, yeah, I will.
You just
Just
said
like
yes.
that.
And I was like, why did I say yes? And so I said, I don't even know what to charge you, because I didn't feel right charging what I was paying my coach, because it was my first deal, and said, you landscape my place and I'll coach you. And that was the very first thing. And he blew up and started coming to my church actually. And it was just amazing. And so that was the beginning. And so then I started speaking, because when you help people have success, they want you to come in and talk about it. And so that's how I got started speaking. And one thing led to another. And going back to 13 years old, when I told my dad, there's a group of people going this way, and I'm here to help them go this way. I know now that it's not a preacher. It's a influencer that uses the stage, and a coach that uses his passion for business and kingdom business to really move people from where they are to where they want to go. That's living your best life.
And you took it from him, through you, to the person that you're coaching, and filters out through what they're doing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Amazing. That ripple is huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot more to my story, but that's the kind of the premise that I took. Is I started my own company, and I have credibility in the areas that I'm coaching, because An oak tree does not come out of the ground with 13 branches. It comes out with one stem, and it really builds credibility. And so I would encourage all of our listeners that if you want to get into this space, if you want to get into coaching, build that credibility. And that's one thing that really helped me. I was able to say, I started a company that was a high turnover, you're in the same industry, we're in the same industry.
Yeah.
So today I'm one of the top employee engagement coaches in the country that teaches leaders how to engage their employees into what I call the mission, vision, and purpose, MVP, mission, vision, and purpose. And it gives them the ability to all point their guns to one target. And you'll create more damage to the target if all guns are pointed to it rather than one. And so we bring people together under that MVP, and we move companies forward so that they can have an impact on what their mission, vision, and purpose is. So that's in a nutshell what we do.
I love it.
And you've never wavered on your faith?
No, there was some times when I first started, there was a lot of times that I was like, I'll never make it. I'll never get to this point. I sold my first coaching program for $300 a month. Okay. And it went from 300 to 3,000 to 6,000 to 18,000 to 37,000. And it's just going north from there. And so when you provide value to the marketplace, you're going to get rewarded for that value.
Yes.
Okay. And so, people need to buy value instead of look at the investment and look at what it will change.
Yes.
What does it cost you not to do? What does it cost me not to come to this conference and to learn maybe one thing? I learned one thing from one of the speakers years ago at FTX that has brought me millions of dollars. One thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the people that say, we don't have time to go to conference, you don't have time not to go to conferences.
Right.
If they're the right ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there's some out there that are just want your money and you're not
Exactly.
gonna learn anything, but research it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pick up some people, those testimonials, find out what it's about, or call
Yeah.
the host and say, hey,
Yeah.
tell me more.
Actually, shameless plug, March 9 and 10, Nashville, Tennessee, my conference, edgeconusa.com.
There you
There
go.
you go.
So
And it wasn't so shameless either.
No, I would
I own it,
recommend that you
baby.
go. That's right. I
Absolutely.
recommend that you
Yeah.
go. So tell us what's going to be there.
So we're going to have about 10 speakers. It's a 2-day conference. And Marie Cosgrove, your friend, our
Yes.
friends, is going to be there. She's the lady that got fired from a company and several years later
Right.
turned around and bought the company. And, the more I get to know her, that story is a great story, but her life story,
Yeah.
the challenges from day one.
From conception.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about from the day she was born. 9 months before was literally a challenge, and it was a
Yes.
fight for life from day one, conception, and so resilience. She's going to be there. Dr. Nate Hearn, you ever see the movie Friday Night Lights?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's the guy. The coach is going to be there.
Wow.
He's coming back. Ken Hartley is going to be there. That
And he's
amazing
phenomenal. We just saw him last
illusionist
night, yeah.
is going to be there. We're working on several other people right now that will blow your mind. And so I only bring the very, very best influencers on my stage at EdgeCon. We've had Myron Golden. We've had Delatora McNeil, Keith Johnson, Todd Saylor, just crazy.
And you do these once a year.
Once a year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is
that
just
definitely
amazing.
sounds like something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So if
Absolutely.
they want to get in touch with you for coaching services, how will they look you up?
So go to my website. I have 2 websites that I'm going to give you because I have several different companies. Go to empoweringsmallbiz.com. empoweringsmallbiz.com. There's a free strategy call that I'll offer you. It'll be one-on-one with me for 30 minutes. I'd love to talk to you, just help you to strategize around your business, around your challenge. So that's empoweringsmallbiz.com. And then my speaking website is davekaufmanspeaks.com. And love to go check that out. There's free assessments there, personality assessments. Love you to buy some products, buy some books. We didn't even talk about that. Author of 4 books, one bestseller called People-Centered Leadership, an amazing book. I know the author. And I'd love for you to guys go pick that up and share that with other people. My first book is Freedom to Succeed. Freedom is huge to me, and success is huge.
Yes.
I talk about, does God want us to be successful? And the answer is absolutely 100%. He wants us to be successful his way. And so in that book, I talk about what it takes to build a company to give you freedom and be successful. It's the 6 systems needed for a healthy business. And then I wrote the People-Centered Leadership to kind of offset that. So the first book was all about systems. The second book is all about people, because systems run the business, but people run the systems. That's what Michael E. Gerber says in his book, The E-Myth. Yeah. My third book was Dave Kauffman's little book on becoming a great leader. And it's a really cool little pocket book, and get it. It's an amazing book. I know the author as well. And then
get it, read it, and then carry it with you.
Yeah.
It's a pocket book.
Yeah, absolutely. The fourth book is called Seeds. Okay, 31 entrepreneurial lessons I learned from the farm. Okay, so we go back to my roots.
You see what I did? Right.
Roots, yeah. And how to grow. There we go again. Grow your business by using entrepreneurial lessons I learned from the farm. So it's story formats. It's a really entertaining read. But as my talks are, I promise the audience to be 3 things: educational, entertaining, and engaging. And so my books are written in that form as well.
Oh, I love it.
My next project on the book side is going to be God, the Ultimate Entrepreneur.
Yeah. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
You know, I know you're very busy, but he cares about your well-being and your mindset and your growth. That's why he's doing this. You know, we at BTBY always say, if you change your mindset, it'll change your actions and it will change your life. But Terrence, you have something that you always say: good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good becomes our better and our better becomes our best.
Right.
And here's the thing: to get to each one of those levels, you got to see people who are already at those levels that you're trying to get to. Why? Because they leave seeds.
Yes.
That book, they leave seeds on how you can go from your good to your better to your best.
Yes.
And what do seeds do? What do seeds do?
They allow you to grow.
That's right.
But you've got to cultivate them.
Yes.
You've got to curate them.
Yeah.
We can't give you the seeds and then you do nothing with them. Otherwise, they'll just blow away.
Yeah.
You got to be aware that the seeds are there and then take that action like Dave did in order to become the best version of himself. And guess what? If he can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I close out with a quote?
Oh, yes, please.
I know the author of this quote too. Suppose all it takes for you to become extraordinary is for you to believe that you were extraordinarily created for that very purpose.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yes. Yes.
That is powerful.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Dave, it's been a pleasure for
Absolutely.
you to be on BTBY. Thank you. You're always welcome to come back and join us.
I'd love to.
Yes.
And I'm going to close out and then throw it over to Brenda. You know what they say. If you want to be among the best, if you want to be the best, then you've got to learn from the best so that you can become the best version of yourself. So always be accountable to being your best. And no matter where you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day. Become the best version of yourself, and you'll always make it an unstoppable day.
Absolutely.
Brenda?
And, you know, thanks for watching, guys. We have more wonderful stories coming up of just ordinary people doing extraordinary things. You don't have to be rich to start.
That's right.
You do not
That's
have
right.
to
I
have
wasn't.
the dreams, right,
Yes.
to take that first step. Go do it.
Yeah.
Take that step. What did Ken say yesterday? His first step was putting on the shoes.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 So thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next time. See you later.